My name is Fabeha Monir. I work as a visual journalist based in Bangladesh. My work primarily focuses on stories exploring the refugee crisis, gender violence, migration, social development, and issues of marginalized communities. My storytelling has a human aspect to it. I covered past emergencies, including reporting floods, cyclones, earthquakes, and fire tragedies. I use an intimate and involved storytelling approach to communicate meaningfully about the human experience. My editorial clients include the New York Times, The Guardian, Der Spiegel, Stern Magazine, Al Magazine, BBC News, Al Jazeera, etc. Since 2013, I have regularly received commissions from nonprofit organizations such as Oxfam, Asian Development Bank, ActionAid, WaterAid, Red Cross, and many more. My work has been screened and exhibited in Greece, Switzerland, Canada, Czech Republic, USA, Austria, Germany, Pakistan, UAE, and the UK. In 2016, I covered the refugee influx in Greece. The following year, I covered the Rohingya refugee influx in Bangladesh, resulting in a multidisciplinary project, immersive storytelling of Rohingya refugee experience. I also co-directed Memory of Shamima, a film which screened in 2019 during the New York Film Festival. The same year, I produced a short documentary film, The Belt and Road Through My Village, which screened at COP25. I earned a postgraduate diploma in visual journalism from Ateneo de Manila University, the Philippines, in 2020. I am a Thomson Reuters Foundation's Yanis Beharakis Photojournalism Grant Awardee 2021. I completed 1-year documentary photography and visual photojournalism program at the International Center for Photography in New York. For me, visual arts are a universally accessible tool that transcends social, cultural barriers and jargon. It can be used to communicate not only information but also an open dialogue between those who have the power to change society and those who live through these issues of poverty, injustice, and gender based violence. This brings a rare combination of an uncountable, untitled component music, literature, art, silence, smell, fearlessness, unbridled creativity, emotions like anger and fear. Knowing I haven't even begun to see what I feel, knowing there is more out there, the inner light might be real. Still, I am nowhere near finding it, and most importantly, conquering the craft of interpreting someone's life into visuals. The photographer provides the first line of ethical defense. I often ask myself how my stories can drive change. Visual journalists are essential in providing vital information to communities affected by the crisis. We must continue to question how we tell these stories, make an impact, and minimize risk for ourselves and for the people we are working with. My work creates an effect, influencing private individuals, decision makers, and whole communities. And showing the injustice always bring a mental shift and subsequent action from people who do have the power to incite change. Photojournalists have always worked on the front line of tragedy, from covering the loss of life in local fires and accidents to recording the sweeping devastation of natural disasters and the reality of international conflicts. In 2005, the American Psychological Association identified journalists as first responders who rush in toward a disaster at personal risk when all others are running away. So, what we do with care. I admire Cindy Sherman, Sally Mann, Nan Golden, Dan Arbus, Julia Margaret Cameron, Louise Hine, Jacob Rye, and many other photographers whose contributions to the societal reformation inspire me keenly. My research proposal, The Cost of Fair Clothes, highlights the plight of textile workers in Bangladesh. Amid poverty, wages, and abuse at work, Bangladeshi female textile workers produce clothes for international brands. These women do not get a working wage, which has a rippling effect on the economy. Workers' rent often remains unpaid, and when ill, they cannot afford to rest. And loans are needed to cover treatment expenses. They walk to work, wear cheap, poor quality clothes, and cannot take care of their families with no spare money. They are motivated to fight for a better future. They hope that the Western brands they work for, the consumers across the globe, will eventually advocate for them, and in doing so, accelerate Bangladesh economic growth. An estimated 2.5 million textile workers, primarily women, work in more than 4,200 garment factories in Bangladesh. After the collapse of the Rana Plaza factory in 2013, where more than 1,000 workers lost their lives, the Bangladeshi government and Western brands promised to facilitate unions inside factories and improve worker safety. Yet, there remains very little focus on female workers' gender-based violence and exploitation. According to recent research, 80% either experience or witness sexual abuse or harassment at work. Yet, few feel to report this abuse or seek justice. A deep-rooted fear of shame is helping to silence the victims of sexual violence within Bangladesh's garments industry. My intended audience is Western consumers, Western buyers, factory owners, and their management. One key underserved audience I emphasize through this project is providing safe space within the textile factory to report abuse. Through my project, I will encourage a more extended discussion on abuse and violence within the textile industry and engage in meaningful solutions.